It's October, and we're feeling festive. On this episode, Danielle is gearing up for block party season in the river towns. Rebecca is dishing an authentic Jewish deli fare in the Capital District. And we're talking to two of the organizers of Kingston's biggest bash, the O Positive Festival. We've got a lot of great stuff for you coming up on this episode of Valley Girls Podcast. Hello, and welcome to Valley Girls, the bi-weekly podcast exploring everything there is to see, do, try, eat, and experience in New York's Hudson Valley by talking to the makers, the doers, the growers, the creators, and all the unique voices of the Hudson Valley. I'm Jenny Leifer.
And I'm Jennifer Santiago, and together as the Valley Girls, we're telling the Hudson Valley story one episode at a time. We're so happy you're here.
So what are you doing October 11th through 13th? I'll tell you where you should be. If you're new to it or if you've been before, the 2024 O Positive Festival is coming soon and you do not want to miss it.
Welcome to the podcast, Laura Hope, music co-director, and Jesse Shearer, festival clinic coordinator. Hi.
Hey.
Hello,
Thanks for being here.
Tuesday.
So for people who are just now hearing about the O Positive Festival for the first time, can you tell us, either or both of you, what it is and how it got started?
Yeah. So it is a festival that takes place every year. It's been going on for 14 years, where we exchange the art of medicine for the medicine of art. And that means that people come, like Lara is one of the people who gets the great musicians and the artists to perform and, give their all that weekend. And then they come in exchange, they get all kinds of health services, anything from chiro, MD, nurse, massage, acupuncture, herbalist, Reiki, tarot reading, mental health. And now we have become year round. So we have a year round clinic, and we have year round music and activations, and a doctor who is leading up our clinic. So we're really excited about that.
That is fantastic.
Our plan is to expand, to have another doctor. Really, the idea behind it is to transcend what we've created in this, capitalistic patriarchal society as care, and really, grow it from what people really need. And if we can do it with the O positive population, then who's to say it can't be done through all of Kingston, through all of New York, and for other people to really see it as a viable pathway to the real healthcare model that should be sort of happening everywhere.
It sure should be. Yeah, this is so unique. I mean, maybe part of why it's so unique is just what makes the Hudson Valley, and all the unique people here, and the kindness and compassion. But it is amazing that you don't see more of these type of mutual aid, whether it's a festival or organization or whatever. It's really so unique, and I'm just so thrilled that it's right here.
What was the genesis of this festival? Just recognizing the need to support the artistic community in that way?
Yeah, I kind of love the story of how O Positive started, because it sounds like a joke, but it is a true story. There was a dentist, a bar owner, and an artist activist and artivist sitting at a bar together, which was Keegan Ailes in Kingston. This is probably like 15 or 16 years ago at this point. Dr. Tom Single, DDS, was the doctor. And he was saying to Tommy and Joe Conqueror, who's the O Positive co-founder, he's like, man, there's this band from, I think from the city or from Philly or somewhere. He's like, and I really like this band. It would be so cool if they would come to Kingston and play. But, I don't really have a lot of experience in booking. I don't know if I could afford to bring them. Like, I would be willing to, clean their teeth or do their teeth if they would come to Kingston. So Joe, the, artist activist, light bulb went off over his head, and he said, Tom, that's a great idea. Why don't we call them and ask them if they'll come play a show in Kingston in exchange for you taking care of their teeth? And that was really the spark that, then grew into now 6,000 healthcare visits over the past 15 years.
That is so fantastic. I don't have a skill set like dentistry or massage, but I learned a lot about that barter economy back in Jenny's LMT days, and I think it's really fascinating and kind of a throwback in the way that it seems like a more sensical way for the economy to operate. So I love that the festival has somewhat operationalized that for such a large number of people. So, Laura, can you tell us a little bit more about your background and how you personally got involved with O Positive and your role with the festival?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been living in Kingston for probably about approximately about the same amount of years that the festival's been happening, maybe like 13, 14 years. And I am a working musician, so a lot of the majority of the bands that are coming through are coming through a submission process that is reviewed by a rotating music committee. So I had applied in the past with, a few different bands of mine over the years, and I had played it a few times with a few different bands over the years and really loved it. Loved the diverse lineup, loved that, and back then there just wasn't as much happening in Kingston as there has been, in the past like 7, 8 years, going back like 10, 12, 13 years, there just wasn't as much. So for the whole city to just be lit up with music and art and community, always just felt very, very special to me. And it was always a weekend I really looked forward to. So it was great to be able to participate early on as a musician and get the care, see firsthand what the exchange is really about. And then I also started volunteering every year, because if you volunteer, A, you're helping, a community-based nonprofit, and B, then you go to the festival for free. So it always seemed like a no-brainer. I always would volunteer, and whether that was like selling tickets or helping with merch. A couple of years, I think I hosted an open mic event. And then in 2018, I got asked to sit on the music committee as a member, and be one of the people that review the submissions that come in. And also as a committee member, you can encourage people to apply if there's bands, whether you know them personally or just a band you're fond of, or you have friends. It's like, help us spread the word, help us reach out to people that maybe we don't know already, to a different genres of music, different age group, different, like, and the music committee rotates and is comprised of people of different like musical backgrounds, ages, socioeconomic backgrounds. Like, we want there to be diverse perspectives. So I got to be on the music committee in 2018 and kind of see how the process worked from the inside. And then during I think it was 2021, the festival was looking for a new music director. So I applied back then. And the roles have kind of changed over the few years. Originally it was for one person, which seemed like a lot for one person, and I now know it is. And I'm really glad that we were able to kind of split the role into two, into programming and production. So I do music programming, and my very amazing, competent, talented co-partner is Laura Crimmins, and she heads up production, and then we run the music committee together.
So cool.
That is so cool. I just love the origins. I love all of that, just the backstory. And I have to say, as much as I've known about it, I did not know that story about the dentist. That is so freaking funny.
And Tom Fingal's still very involved.
Yeah.
Oh,
Still,
really?
a big part of the festival, and still provides healthcare every year for artists and musicians. He's one of our dentists.
That's so great. Oh, that makes me happy.
Mhm.
So, Jesse, you and I know each other obviously from a few different aspects of our lives,
Right.
a couple of different places. But can you share for our listeners a little bit about your background and your involvement with O Positive?
Sure. So I'll tell the story about how I found out about O Positive. It was probably like 14 years ago. Seems like more though. And I was walking around Kingston. There wasn't much going on in Kingston, a lot of empty spaces. I saw this little scrawled, like maybe 2-inch ad on a door that said, "Are you a healthcare provider? Do you like music?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah. Do you want to work in a festival that's just beginning?" Just a small little ad that I hadn't need a magnifying glass to see really. And I'm like, "Yeah." So I showed up, and it was at one of the first year. It wasn't in a place yet. Eventually went to Kirkland, the Kirkland, which was an amazing spot for us, and then at the Old Dutch Church. But this was in like a small area, like it might have been partially in the bottom of Kirkland, but like a sort of a storefront. So I just started and I love doing it. Did it every year, kept coming as a volunteer. And then, as the years went by, I got more involved. Started to like organize the massage therapist, and then started to sort of coordinate the clinic itself.
Yeah.
So my background is as a massage therapist and a health advocate, activist. I've done a lot of like health activism work throughout the years, and it's just been like a really great sort of marriage of my passions. So it always feels right to be doing, and I have a lot of connections, so I'm able to make those sort of blossom in a way that might not be able to in other ways. I've been involved with the other free clinics in the area, and like Healthcare is a Human Right and the Roundout Health. And so it sort of like brings all these things together. I also, noticed that you were talking a little bit about how you like the idea of, and you used the word sensical, which I really liked, the whole idea of, this new economy. And that's very much at the heart of what we're creating here. And so it's really important that we have people like Tom Single and all the other amazing providers who come every year to the festival. It's like, so it could never happen without them. So what we're doing now is we're creating an exchange, basically, that's going to be year round. So we are really meeting with providers who have like the desire to work in a different way that isn't money based completely, that they kind of want to work collaboratively, that they want to like receive tickets to shows in exchange for a dental exam or a massage, that maybe they need an automotive mechanic who can be there and they can give an acupuncture session. So we've taken on the sort of mission that is the festival into a year-round project, which is so exciting, and also
Very
very,
exciting.
as Lara will agree, is very complex.
Oh, I'm sure. It's such a like, yeah, and Jen did say sensical, and also the barter system, like she was saying, that model is is the most sensical, and it is so brilliant. And I just love that you've been able to expand it into that. And Jesse, I've known you for a long time. I know you have a huge heart and are always up
Yeah.
for an adventure. So I could just picture you saying, be like, yeah, shoot, I'm a healthcare
Makes
provider, and
sense.
I like music, I'm in, but it's such a great fit for you. You both just do such great work with it. That's just awesome. I love that.
Thanks. One thing I just want to bring in to answer to you is that barter usually means like one to one, which is
That's
transactional.
interesting.
Yeah, so it's like a new way to think about it. So instead of me giving you a massage and you helping me like figure out some engineering on my radio show, and we have to sort of be held to each other in this way, which is beautiful in its own way. What we're creating sort of is like you give what you can,
Mhm.
and then you source from what's available.
Ah.
So we're taking away the transactional aspect to it,
So it's a
which is,
more like a mutual aid model. Like I can give you
yeah,
writing services, but you don't need writing services, and I don't need a
right,
massage, so I put my
right,
writing
You
services
put it in
in.
you put it in the pool.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it's nice also, it doesn't necessarily have to be what your career is. Like you can
Mhm.
say, I would be available to take your dog for a walk. I would be available to cook you a meal if you're under the weather. I would be available,
right.
it's like very wide breadth of options of what people have to offer. And even for the people who think like, well, I don't have any skills or talents. It's like some people are just, I've seen people put in like someone to talk to if you're feeling lonely. It could be something as simple as that.
I
Yeah.
love that concept. That's it. Mutual aid. That's a great way to
Yeah.
describe
Yeah.
that. That is awesome.
So I love how you both talk about how the festival and your roles have evolved over the years, from Jesse seeing this little minuscule ad on a door, and Lara, you just saying, oh, I'm going to play with my band there, and now I'm booking all the bands, and that's super cool. So there's a group called Connect HB. It's a Slack channel and a group that's connecting people. And so Jordan Koshai, who was on an episode of ours, talks about what he calls creative serendipity. And so I'm imagining that there's a lot of that when all of these creative people are connecting at this festival and just bringing these open hearts and this helpful spirit, you must get so many cool new connections and like projects that nobody was even thinking about until you all got there and started talking to each other. So that's really exciting.
I was thinking about Jordan too. I was going to say that you just totally read my mind as they're talking about even just the whole mutual aid aspect, where it's not a barter, like a one-to-one, it's not transactional. And in Connect HV in their Slack channel, it's like people, like we said, we're trying to not use the word networking. Jordan hates the word networking because networking again is transactional. And you always think that, you're expecting something from networking, but it's really just connecting, literally connecting for connecting's sake. And you just never know who's going to be that person to like, oh, well, I'm mentioning that I'm doing this creative thing and someone else is saying, oh, I have a lot of experience with that. I'd be happy to help you with XYZ. And then somebody else, it's the pay it forward thing, right? So then somebody else helps that person. And our Westchester correspondent, we have 2 new correspondents on the Valley Girls this season.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we have Capital District. We have our friend Rebecca Ash, and down in Westchester, we have Danielle Chintafati Davidson. And she was on an episode in season 1, and Jen found her through the Connect HV Slack, got talking to her, said, you got to come on our show, talk to us about everything you do. And through that, she is now comes on every single week and gives us like a 1 to 2 minute blurb on something going on in Westchester. So that idea, and I absolutely love that phrase, creative serendipity. I have used it so many times since Jordan said that. And speaking of creative serendipity and our 2 newest correspondents, I give you Rebecca Ash with a capital idea and Danielle Chintafati Davidson with the 411 of Westchester. But stick around, we've got more coming up on the O Positive Festival with Lara and Jesse.
Hello and welcome to A Capital Idea with Rebecca Ash. This week we highlight Gershon's Deli. Gershon's Deli is the Capital District's oldest New York-style Jewish deli since 1954. It was established by Irv and Lena Gershon, and though it's changed in location and ownership since then, one thing that hasn't changed is their mission statement: fresh food, freshly prepared, and courteously served. They offer a variety of traditional favorites like kugel, latkes, potato knish, an array of smoked fish platters, brisket, homemade soups and salads, and a pastrami so tender it would make your booby blush. If you can get your hands on their hamantaschen, you won't be disappointed, but their apple strudel places a close second. This place would give some of my favorite Jewish delis back in Manhattan a serious run for their money. The interior is clean and unassuming, and on a nice day, you can enjoy your lunch on the patio, or place an order to go and savor the flavors at home. And best of all, they have a thriving catering business that offers hot and cold buffets, so they're perfect for breaking fast with your family and friends. But you don't have to wait for the high holy days to stop by. Make any day a special one with a visit to Gershon's Deli, where the nosh is worth the schlep. Gershon's Deli is located at 1600 Union Street in Schenectady.
Welcome back to the 4-in-1 of Westchester, where we cover the good stuff happening across Westchester County. I'm Danielle Davidson, owner of Main Street Business Strategies, and this week we're getting into block party season in the river towns. We have a great lineup across Sleepy Hollow, Dobbs Ferry, and Irvington to share with you all, so let's get into it. First up is Sleepy Hollow Street Fair on Saturday, October 5th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Beekman Avenue. There will be over 175 vendors, arts and crafts, food and entertainment for the whole family, pups included, and Halloween and holiday items for sale. The rain date is Sunday, October 6th. Next up is Ferry Festa in downtown Dobbs Ferry, also on Saturday, October 5th, from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Ferry Festa is Dobbs Ferry's largest community event. It's an annual street fair with activities, crafts, entertainment, music, and vendors happening all along Cedar and Main Streets. So head over to Sleepy Hollow and then make your way to Dobbs Ferry for the evening. Finally, Irvington's Halloween block party on Saturday, October 18th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Come in costume to a performance of Winkle vs. Horseman by the Rivertowns Playhouse in their backyard theater. Tickets for that are $25 for adults and $15 for kids. And then stay for the block party at the southern end of the Aqueduct parking lot on Main Street for crafts, games, face painting, food, and a beer garden hosted by Climbing Wolf. Costume contest will be won by the end of the night. We'll add all the links to these events in the show notes, so enjoy block party season, and we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks.
All right. So I want to know from both of you what you're most excited about for this year's festival. But Lara, you and Laura have been working hard. There is quite a lineup of musical acts coming to the festival. So I want to know both of you what you're most looking forward to, but I'm also interested in hearing about all the bands in particular.
Yeah, I will say that now every year we go, all right, next year we're gonna do it a little smaller. It was too big. It was too much this year. We're gonna scale down. Not even just the music. Like as an organization, we're all like too much. So we're gonna scale down. But then we just have so many amazing people coming out of the woodwork that want to be a part of it. And I mean, unfortunately, we're still saying like, we still have to say no to a lot of people because we can only handle so much as a small team, and we want to make sure everybody that comes through has a positive experience in the clinic and that there are enough providers. But even with having this to say no for this year to a lot of people, we still just like there's so much talent coming through and so many people that want to be a part of it that it's just like it's huge this year. We have 57 bands.
Wow.
Jeez.
Over 3 days, right?
For 3 days. There are going to be 14 different stages,
Wow.
which is a little bit blowing my mind. I can quickly mention where some of them are going to be. There's our main headliner venue is the Old Dutch Church in Uptown Kingston. We've also now, this will be the 3rd year we built an outdoor uptown stage that we call the Somewhere Stage, which is right behind our office, which is directly across the street from the Old Dutch Church. So it's really nice to be able to ping pong back and forth. And the church is so beautiful, but it's a seating room, so it lends itself to certain types of music, whereas like the outdoor summer stage will put more dance bands and more party bands, and so it's nice to have different vibes and you can bounce back and forth. Utility Bikes has been kind enough, this is their 2nd year, to open up their space, which that's like a little bit more of an intimate listening room type of space, and that's also right around the corner, right on Wall Street. So those are all very, very easily accessible to go to. If you wanted to see 2 or 3 things within an hour, you could. And then there's Keegan Ales, of course, and they've got their big tent stage, and we're taking over the back brew tank room, so we'll have a back and forth there. We're doing a singer-songwriter stage at Rough Draft.
Oh, love
That's
Rough Draft.
fantastic.
That's
Which is
very
really
cool.
That's really
Fun.
cool.
That's a nice intimate venue. That feels very singer-songwritery. I love that.
Yeah, and if the weather permitting, we'll do it out on the street.
Mm,
And
nice.
we'll do a little street closure right in front. Then we also are doing our big block party this year where we're closing down Wall Street, and it's a health expo, but there's also Westchester Medical Center is going to be there, and a lot of other providers. And then we'll also have like vendors. There's going to be roller derby. There's going to be so just like a wide variety of different activities and shopping at a stage with a bunch of bands. And so it's going to be called Block Party. Photo booths and all sorts of stuff, and that's completely free and open to the public, all ages. Come down. I believe it's 2 to 6 or 1 to 6 on Sunday. And then I'd love to mention also, this is our 3rd year we're collaborating with the Ulster County Italian American Foundation, because they always throw their annual Italian festival on the Sunday of O Positive. So over the past few years we've thought like, let's just join forces rather than throwing 2 separate events. Let's collaborate. So we've been doing what we now call the Italiano Positive stage.
I love that.
There.
Awesome.
Amongst others, I know I'm forgetting. Oh, and Unicorn Bar. So Unicorn Bar is we're going to be using for the first time as a venue because they're new.
Mhm.
So that's going to be great. And then we also are going to use Tubby's, and probably a few that I'm forgetting. But yeah, I'm really excited about a lot of the acts that are coming. Of course, we have Kate Pearson from the B-52s, who's a local hero. Rhett Miller, who's also a local hero to me. He's the front man of the old 97s alt country.
Mhm.
He lives in New Paltz, and he's bringing his his all-star band, which is going to be great. Nico Case,
Nico
I've
Case,
been
yeah.
trying to get her
So,
since
yeah.
I got this job a few years ago. So that's exciting. But really, there's so many, like I'm just mentioning, the headlining bands, but there are so many up and coming bands. We always make sure that at least 50% of the lineup is Hudson Valley based. So we have a lot of people all over the Hudson Valley, and then we also have a bunch of acts coming from the city and coming from Jersey and coming from Philadelphia, 1 or 2 from Baltimore, Rhode Island, and a lot from Brooklyn and the city. And And there are just like, we've got a reggae band from Long Island coming up called Aqua Cherry, I'm excited about. We've got MFA that are this like horn driven party band coming up. And like tons of great local bands.
Well, and that is an exciting opportunity to discover somebody new. Just maybe somebody new that you will fall in love with musically, but also weird side story. Many, many, many years ago, when I was probably in ninth grade, my parents and I went to Montreal, and there was some summer festival happening, and there was this singer there that everybody was super excited and freaking out about. We'd never heard of her, but apparently she was a really big deal in Canada, and her name was Celine Dion, and we were like, oh, that's cool. And so we actually did not go see Celine Dion at this outdoor festival. I think it was just like a block party too. It wasn't even, you didn't even pay to go. So I missed the boat on Celine Dion, but you never know. Maybe the next Celine Dion is going to be at O Positive.
That's
Yeah.
so true. I love that. How did I never know that story? That's so great.
Because
Still
I kind
learning
of
things.
forgot about it until just now when Lara was talking. So okay, so Jesse, I still want you to tell us what you're most excited about for this year, but also, so if I'm not a vendor, I'm not a musician who's participating, how can I attend? How can I support the organization? Just what do I need to know if I'm like, wow, this sounds so cool listening to this podcast, I want to go to that festival? How can I do that?
Yeah. Oh God. Well, from my point of view, any provider who has a desire to be part of this is so invited to apply. You can go to info@opositive.org. Go on the website. There's a whole area that says if you're a provider and you want to be involved, you can submit something here. We're open right now. I work with MAC through the year-round exchange. Sort of, I bring people in and he coordinates the clinic. And so there's so many possibilities for what you could do. You could throw an event on at the clinic. You could do a talk if you're a doctor or a new provider. And then there's the exchange to become part of. So really just go to the website, check out where you can fill out any forms to be part of it. It's all there. If you see me, please feel free to come up to me. If this is being, I'm sure this is being aired locally. And we need money all the time, so I'll just be totally out there with it. If anybody has money to spare, we are working on so many initiatives right now, providing free healthcare to alumni and musicians and performers is like what we're doing, free healthcare. And that's what we are providing. We need, as much monetary support as possible. And so that this is a call out for that for sure. We need volunteers.
Also to note that the festival is, it's accessible to all. It's a by donation. And,
Yeah.
in the past we've had a suggested donation. This year it's literally like pay what you can. If $5 is what feels good for you, great. But if you have $100 or $500 or $1,000, you're helping out that person that can only pay $5. And all of the money that we make is going directly towards providing this healthcare. So like Jesse was saying, that anyone that has an entrepreneurial spirit or has a few, you're not only helping the musicians and the artists, but you're also helping to allow us to keep it accessible to everybody in the community.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, totally. And really volunteers. I mean, we have a volunteer coordinator who is Max Fass. He, is listed, I think, on the website, or it says volunteer coordinator. We need volunteers to help it happen, So so going backwards in what you were asking, that is just like something that I think is really important. And I thank you for having us on the show, because I think a lot of people still don't really understand what we do or how hard we work to make this happen, and how much everybody's put in over these years to make it what it is. I think there's a misconception locally often that I hear that is just so crazy when I hear it, that people think like, O Positive created this gentrification that's creating like this like inaccessible idea around Kingston. And it couldn't be more false. And so every time I hear it now and then, I just am like, what are you talking about? This festival allows people to actually live in the area, get health care, get involved. It's become a prettier city. And if that's what people think, making a city more beautiful and affordable and accessible and artistic and being very accessible to health is what is bringing people in, yeah, then it probably is, because who doesn't want to live in that kind of area? So I just need to put a little in there for that.
For sure.
Here,
And
here.
the creative character of the Hudson Valley and the independent artists and the musicians and just that spirit of the Hudson Valley is what makes this the best place to live, and it's what attracts people, especially to like the Kingston, Socrates, Woodstock type of area. And so this is for everybody, whether you feel like this particular festival is calling to you or not. I mean, this is what makes our area great and unique and quirky and creative. And so it's really a service to the whole community. And yeah, it's good for your property values.
That's right.
Right.
That is right. And I know you guys are talking a lot about the music and the health, but there's a lot of visual art as well that goes into this. So I don't know if there's anybody in particular, or I know like Matt Pleva's done a lot of work with it in the past. And if you have any other local artists, or who are you looking at for some of the artists that are participating?
Well, first, Lindsay Wolkowitz is the art director. Laura probably knows more about that side, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the names off the top of my head.
Oh,
I would
that's
have to
okay.
look, but I do know that there are a bunch of murals coming up this year. But it's more than just the murals. There's a lot of like other visual activations. People are hanging prints, people are doing projections, and people really interpret it as in many different ways.
Sure.
But I do know that something I can say is that O Positive historically, at least as long as I've known, and I know Lindsay, who's amazing at her job, goes really out of her way to give some people who have never had an opportunity to do something like this, to do a large scale mural, give them a wall. And I know that in the past, opportunities through O Positive have led to some of these people being able to really launch their career and do this in other places. And Lindsay's always looking to really help represent underrepresented people, to give them walls. And I know she was just telling me about someone whose name is escaping me, but he's local, and he is most of the stuff he's done is very small scale, and he's going to get a wall for the first time, and he's really excited about and really looking forward to the opportunity. And I think he's actually even going to be painting during the festival, so it'll kind of be interactive. He's going to be painting the garage that's behind our office where the somewhere stage is going to be, so people can kind of watch him while he's working. And so she's really always trying to give people opportunities that they may not have had otherwise.
That is so great. Last question that I have for you, which I don't know that I ever know this. Where did the name O Positive come from? How did they name it? Do you guys know?
I mean, Lara might know better, but it's a blood type,
Yeah,
and I
sure.
think O negative doesn't sound as good as O positive,
but
right?
but why a blood type? I'm saying just
Because apply pressure and elevate is one of the best slogans that I've heard. There's a lot of really great slogans that have come up in the past when they were really just like creating this, and I think that blood, what is blood? We all have the same blood running through us. It's like what, I'll just riff on this why I think it's important, which is like, the fact that we're hung up on colors or what anybody looks like or anything. We're human beings with blood inside. That makes us all the same. We have so much more similar than we have dissimilar. And I think we really need to start acting on that
love that.
idea. Yeah.
I love
that.
the wording
Well
that
said.
is on your website. And then Jesse, you said it earlier, exchanging the art of medicine for the medicine of art. That's so beautiful.
It is beautiful. So a lot of brilliant minds, a lot of creative people, a lot of kind-hearted souls, and we are just so grateful that you are doing the work that you're doing and that you came to talk to us today. We're just thrilled to have you. Thank you so much for everything you do throughout the year to support the mission of O Positive, and I will definitely see you at the festival on Sunday. I will see you at the festival. Yeah, just thank you guys so much for being here and for all you do.
Yeah, thank you for having us. And if anybody is, interested in getting involved or just knowing what's going on, definitely follow us on our socials. We're pretty active on Instagram and Facebook. It's O Positive. It's O plus or spell out O Positive. Go to our website, opoசிtivefestival.org. And really the best way to know what's going on, even if you're interested in applying next year and you want to make sure that you make the deadline, join our mailing list. We send out a couple email blasts a month with just all the stuff that's going on, including all of the free and open to the public workshops and classes and services that we're now offering in our clinic. So follow us online and get involved. And there's so many ways to get involved.
That is great. And we will make sure that we put all of those links on the episode page of the website, valleygirlspodcast.com, so people can link to O Positive and get involved. Do you do any, do you have sponsorships? Do you have any like local sponsors? Do you have anything like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody who is interested in sponsoring, we have a lot of local sponsors, but we can always use more. I also want to give a shout out to the Old Dutch Church, who's been like our home, for many years, Pastor Rob and just like really giving us a home for our clinic.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks to all the community members and business owners and artists and healthcare providers. Just thanks to you all.
Yeah.
And the city of Kingston.
Yeah, the whole city of Kingston, the whole city of Kingston. May
Really?
everybody. It's just so great. And definitely, if you haven't checked it out, check out O Positive, October 11th through the 13th, and check out their website, their Instagram, and we'll have more information on valleygirlspodcast.com as well. Thank you, ladies.
Great. Valley
Thank
Girls.
you.
Good job, you two. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting O Positive and having us.
Thanks for everything you do.
Love you guys.
If you are a healthcare provider or wellness practitioner interested in exchanging the art of medicine for the medicine of art, please join the team of providers in the O Positive Artists Clinic during O Positive Festival 2024, October 11th through 13th. And thank you to everyone for listening. Please like and subscribe, rate and review, because as we know, it all helps tremendously. Do you love the Valley Girls? Tell a friend. Have ideas for the podcast? Tell us. The easiest way to chat with us is our Facebook group, Valley Girls Podcast Pod Squad, or you can contact us through our website, valleygirlspodcast.com, where you can also sign up for our newsletter so you never miss a thing. And of course, we're on Instagram at valleygirlspodny. We can't wait to hear from you. Oh, and do you love our theme music as much as we do? The music for this episode is by Robert Burke Warren, entitled Painting a Vast Blue Sky, and can be found on his album Red-Headed Friend, available on iTunes and Spotify, and at the link in the show notes. Bye for now.